As I always say in our family, that costs absolutely nothing. So on behalf of Christine, Karina, Rob and myself, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here today. I know that there are people who have come from a long way away, from Myanmar, from Canada, and particularly on Dan's side, from down south as well. So thank you very much. But to be surrounded by family and friends we care about on this special day does mean so much. And I welcome, in particular, all Dan's family to our new combined family. It's great to see you. Now, I've got to declare an interest on the Rooney side of the family. We've always been fascinated by weddings. In fact, and this is completely true, my grandma Rooney, Sarah's great-grandma Rooney, was actually married 4 times. Completely true. After she was widowed by my granddad, her second and third husbands both died through eating poison mushrooms. The 4th husband died from a blow to the back of the head. He wouldn't eat mushrooms. So very, very sad. Now, I think you'll all agree as well, it was lovely to hear the string quartet as we were all coming in, and I'm sure like you, like me, most of you, while you were enjoying all the music, you were also starting to think where the 4th member had gone. Was he rifling through our belongings? What was he doing? And you know, I was listening to the music, and then my mind started to drift. And then I thought about the first time Sarah had ever mentioned Dan's name. And I know exactly when it was. It was October 2007. Sarah just started at university, and she said to me, she rang me up and she said, Dad, I've got a boyfriend and he's called Dan, and there's a few things I'd like to tell you about him. So I said, oh, that's great. So she said, well, first of all, his face is completely covered in tattoos and piercings. Said, okay. So the second thing, I've got to tell you, he's been in and out of juvenile offender institutions since the age of 12. He started with petty arson, and then when him and his mates got into their early teens, they were starting stealing cars, joyriding, and then later on, in his late teens, he moved into drug dealing, and he actually came to Exeter University to do economics. And his aim was to use the economics that he would learn to become the biggest drug dealer in the whole of Western Europe. So as you can imagine, I was completely shocked by this, because I thought, what do I say? Anyway, I didn't say anything. And then I did some asking around, and the week after, I rang up Sarah and said, Sarah, you know, last week when I spoke to you, you told me about Dan, and you said, you mentioned the piercings, the tattoos, the arson, the joyriding, and the drug dealing. I've done some asking around, and you've completely made it up. Why would you do that? And she said, yes, I've got to apologise, you know, for making all those little white lies. She said, the fact was, I was just too ashamed and embarrassed to tell you that he's a Liverpool supporter. And so is his brother. So, there'll be a few of those coming up later on in the next 3 hours that you and I will be talking. No, that wasn't meant to be funny. So, Sarah, obviously, everybody knows that Sarah is really keen on admin and you know, a very, very good administrator, which I know most people regard as control freak, but, well, I do anyway. So she's given me a list of things that I've got to do in this speech. So my job is to toast a happy couple, and I went through this. I've got to thank the guests for coming, which is what I've done. Welcome our new son-in-law to the family, Tick, that's great. Say something public about your daughter, or that's coming up, tick. Tips to the newlyweds, that's coming up, tick. Limit your speech to about 15 minutes, well that's not going to happen. Now, in all seriousness, it's said that for a father, having a daughter is a blessing. It's a wonderful gift from God. They're pure, they're beautiful, sweet, gentle, kind and angelic. They laugh all the time, and they look at you as though you're the most important person in the world, and you think to yourself, well, what did I ever deserve do to deserve this? And then, as they say, God then shows he's got a sense of humour because he sends you a second daughter. And that's what happened here. So it was September the 7th, 1988 that our Sarah was born. She was born in Harlow Hospital in Essex. Now, she shares a birthday with Queen Elizabeth I. But there really that similarity ends because one's got a long-standing reputation for being a red-headed tyrant capable of reducing the strongest man to a blubbering mass of tears with just a terse word or even a harsh stare, whereas the other's just a Tudor Queen of England. So, just thinking back to the day she was born, Samantha and I waited at the hospital for Sarah to be brought out of the operating theatre as Christine was having an operation. Now, to be honest, till I had children, I didn't really know about childbirth. I always thought that the caesarean section was a district of Rome where they had all the restaurants, particularly the salad bars. Anyway, I digress. So, unfortunately, because Samantha was distracting me by messing around and creating an unnecessary drama in one part of the maternity wing, and I'm so grateful that you got out of that phase. But we missed her being wheeled into the side room. But eventually the midwife found us, and we were taken to see Sarah for the first time. Now, she was beautiful, perfect features. She looked like a little China doll. And really, and I've got to say, at times like this, emotion gets the better of you. I was crying as I leant over and uttered the first 3 words I ever said to her. And it really was the 3 words that you'd expect me to say as I looked at her big, beautiful eyes and through a veil of tears muttered those magic words, "Not another ginger." What are the chances, to be honest? If we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. But anyway, so a few months after she was born, we all moved back to the north of England to live in Oldham, and I know for many on Dan's side this is the first time that many of you have been to this town. Now, the weather's not been at its best today, but summer in Oldham is fantastic. In fact, we all call it our favourite day of the year, sometime in about August, I think. Now, Sarah then progressed from being a baby to a toddler, and it's when both, and this is true for Samantha as well, when they're babies and toddlers, you start to look about things. You think, have they got some innate ability? Is there something that they're a child prodigy with them? You know, are they a superb painter, for example? And peer group pressure kicks in, and I remember Sarah being at playgroup, and one day I was actually looking after Samantha and Sarah on my own at home, and he brought it home to me because the phone rang, and it was a phone call, and someone said, "Hi, this is Jessica's parents from Sarah's playgroup. We just want to tell you, because we've got to tell somebody, but our Jessica has just finished her reading a second novel, this time in Spanish. We're so proud, we just have to tell everybody." So, okay, great. Okay, congratulations, I said through gritted teeth. And then about half an hour later, the phone rang again, and this time it was said, "Hi, we're the parents of James, also in Sarah's play group, and you know, we really have to tell somebody, but James has just passed his grade 5 piano exam. And we're so proud, he's even started to compose his own music." And you know, I'm there at home, and I just looked up at Sarah and Samantha, chuckling away as they played, smearing chocolate all over the fridge. And I thought, well, at least they've got their health. No point in hoping for too much. So. Anyway, as Sarah got to about 3, as parents do, you start having these one-way conversations where they sit on your knee. And I remember, in particular, it must have been about 1991, where Sarah's sitting on my knee, and I said, "Do you know she was beautiful. And, you know, Sarah, what do you think is going to happen first?" Bear in mind, this is 1991. What do you think will happen first? Liverpool will win the league title, or you'll pass your driving test. And you know, over a quarter of a century later, I'm still waiting for the answer for that. Now, when Sarah was little, we then all moved for a time to live in Dubai, and it was nice. The four of us were there in the hot weather, and every weekend on the Friday we used to go out for a meal. We'd go to an Arabic restaurant, and it was so nice. We'd go there, and Christine would be in full burqa dress. Now, she wasn't actually trying particularly to conform to local traditions. She just said she didn't really like to be seen out with me. So, now, when we came back, we decided we were going to enrol Sarah in the local prep school of the private school. And it wasn't particularly because we were interested in private education per se, but we thought if we got her into private school, she would learn to socialise at a very early age with other future members of the Labour Party. So, and there's more on that subject. So, I remember clearly, on the first day, we took her to the school. She was about 6 or 7, and I said to Christine, we just looked at the playground. I said, just look at that playground. They were all there in the little boater hats and the blue school uniform. And I just said, look at the pupils in the playground. How smart they all are, how well behaved they are, how refined and ladylike they look. What great role models they're going to be for Sarah. Well, unfortunately, she didn't get pally with any of them. She got pally with Lucy instead. So all that money right down the drain. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see Lucy, and it's nice to see her parents, Graham and Tricia, today. We've had 20 years of anecdotes about you, and even today, when Sarah goes out with you in the evening, I always say to Sarah, remember, be positive. Be positive. If it all kicks off with Lucy, that's your blood group. Be positive. Right. So then Sarah eventually moved into senior school, and she